You know, when you got a boot that feels good, your feet feel good. Your feet are light. I've rode with Luke Casey boots for I don't know how long. Uh, when I get them, I mean, as soon as you put them on, they fit you. You know, they're flimsy enough that you can move your feet in them, but they're tough enough they hold up pretty good. I've rode with these boots for quite a few years now, and you see they're still in really good shape. There again, your Spurs, different. You got to figure out what works for you. I kind of ride with a little bit longer shank than a lot of people do. I used to ride with real long shanks, and I went to a little bit shorter ones, but the Spurs I use, Sling and Shanks builds them, but they're Jerome Davis's style. They're twisted, teardrop, and by twisted, if I hold it straight, a spur lays over at an angle like that, and then the teardrop, they drop. Well, I've rode with all kinds of different Spurs, and you know, I'd always go back. If I started riding bad, I always went back to Jerome Spurs, the twisted teardrop, every single time. And when Sling and Shank started building Spurs, Travis, I told him, I said, well, you can build me some, but I want them identical to Jerome Spurs, the twisted teardrop. And mine even got a little more twist to them than Jerome's Spurs that he designed did. But PBR, you got the PBR approved rails that you can only wear. I rodeo, so I can use whatever rails. These rails right here are the rails I rode with from the time I started riding bulls till the PBR changed and made you ride with the rails they want everybody to ride with them. If you look at mine, a lot of times the middle point in my rails are always bent in. And if you can see it, if it's straight on right there, you can see it cocked in. Jerome Davis taught me that. I don't turn my toes out, you know, east and west. So he always told me, you know, you bend that one point in, you're still catching a halt with it. So if that bull's side is up against here, well, if you don't have your toe turned out, if that's straight out, you're not going to catch hardly anything. But with it bent in a little bit, and you got your toe turned in, you're still catching something. It's just ways, little tricks to, you know, try to get better hold with your feet. With the PBR rails, if you're going the PBR route, you can't alter those rails at all in any way, so it really doesn't work on that. Trust me, I tried it. They caught it. Maybe change them. So, you know, when I decided to go rodeo instead of going to the PBR, I put same old rails I always used in, and I feel like I feel my feet better with them. I know where my feet are. I can feel when I get a hold, when I don't have a hold, a lot better with these kind of rails. But, you know, a lot of equipment, you want good equipment. I mean, you don't want to buy just used up, wore out stuff. It's going to break on you. It's not going to work very good. I mean, if you're planning on doing this for a living, you want to have the best equipment you possibly can. And it doesn't mean go spend a fortune buying everything. I mean, you can use a used vest. My ropes look like wore out ropes. I mean, you know, and so you can find somebody that maybe didn't like a rope, didn't ride with it, maybe 20, 30 bulls. Buy that, because they'll sell it a lot cheaper than going and buying a brand new. Just figure out what works for you, what feels best to you, and that's what you stick with. It's all personal preference. A lot of people always, well, what kind of Spurs you ride with? And it really doesn't matter what I ride with. I ride with Spurs and things that fit my style. Not everybody has the same style. So if you turn your toes completely out east and west, these are not going to work for you. You know, they're bent in too much. You know, your toe will be turned out and your Spurs are going to hit him like that. You know, I don't turn my toes out, so that's why they're bent in and twisted like that. But, you know, you just got to figure out what works best for you. Another thing I see, guys, that I've never really understood it. I have riding boots. They go in my bag, and in which you can have them to where you can take them on and off your boots, so you can wear them around and things like that. But I lock mine down on my heel. I mean, I've been riding with these locked down like that for a while, so they got a little bit of play in them. But when I first put them on there, I lock them down to where they don't budge. That way, I know there's no play in it. I know where my feet are. I know where my spurs are when they hit them bull sides. I see a lot of guys when they put their spurs on, things like that, it's so loose under here that they pull up, you know, their spur will be up here. Instead of down where it's supposed to be, it'll be way up here and pointed up and different things, and I've never really understood that. I want those spurs exactly where I put them on those boots, and I don't want them to move. You know, that much play is not going to bother you, because once I tighten them down, that takes the play out of it. You know, when I strap them on, it takes most of the play out. That way, when I stick my foot down there and I feel that spur, I know exactly where it's at, and it's not going to move. It's not going to have any play. It's not going to go up or down. It's going to be exactly where I stuck my foot. And I don't know why guys, you know, let them put them on, but I mean, whatever works for you, this is how I do all mine. You know, I lock them down on there. You can get this. It's a rod. You can get it at any hardware store. It comes in a 3-foot rod. I cut it, bend it, pull it around there, and I mean, I've had those on there for probably a year and a half, and they're still there, you know, and it's one loop. It's thicker wire, so I don't have to twist it all around there. I wrap it around there, clamp it down one time, and that's how it is. And I mean, it makes it easier to change them out when you do need to change them out. I do wrap them with tape under here so it don't cut into the heel of your boot, because eventually it'll cut in there. It'll pop the heel of your boot off eventually. If you get a deep enough hole, it'll pop that whole heel off. But get a pair of boots that feel good, because if you feel good, you ride good.